Deputy Doyle. Deputy Doyle. You're sharing with Deputy Buck, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Could I first of all take the opportunity to wish Minister Kelleher well in his new portfolio, and also Minister Dempsey. As this is my first opportunity to address the House, I'd just like to also thank the people of Wicklow for giving me the opportunity. Having considered and looked at the bill, I think it's both practical and progressive in light of the year of multi-car households, high volume traffic, and even as we strive to improve the public transport provision, I think other countries where which have much better public transport services also have this type of barrier-free tolling in place. But I suppose the caveat is that just because we improve the efficiency of tolling and speed up the throughput isn't a carte blanche approval for applying tolls everywhere and anywhere. I think it has to be justifiably proven that it's needed to prove the cost. And a quid pro quo of having an efficient system of tolling should be reflected in the toll costings and the reviews that are actually take place. And we don't want to have a situation again, which has occurred in the M50, where an increase in the toll for the public was approved because it was in lockdown in a contract when it was clearly proven that it wasn't necessary. One of the concerns that has been highlighted already regards the application of the fines, the default fine. And I think we can apply EU laws all across the EU when it suits us. And it seems to me odd that if a car can be insured by a Polish company and covered to be insured to run on a road in Ireland, why isn't it practical to apply a fine to people? I'm not picking Poland, I'm just giving the example that across the EU we have harmonisation of all rules, so it should be possible to do it. I suppose the only concern is with regard to especially the M50 is that the time frame involved is over a year away, and I think it in particular should be prioritised. And just as an aside, I think yesterday seeing the 1 millionth truck use the port tunnel, which is a great testament to eventually its success. But I also heard on one of the Vox Pops that bus drivers who were using it and got a round of applause from their drivers or for the passengers has been told that he can't use it. Now, I would urge a review of the usage of the port tunnel, that public transport vehicles should be considered as the next class of vehicle that can use the tunnel without incurring a charge. I think it probably would alleviate, especially the traffic heading north. And I know I've had occasion to use it once or twice when I was running late myself after the €12 time when I was 6. And when you have 2 or 3 people in a car going to miss a flight that's costing it certainly seems like good value. On the issue of the high-quality dual carriageway, I think that this proposal actually harmonises what is, in effect, very little difference between high-quality roads and motorways in regard to speed limits, signage, etc. And as everybody else has been given latitude to be parochial, I'd just like to ask that Euro Route 1, i.e. Larne to Rosslare, which includes the N11, be included in that, along with the major urban routes. But this, of course, would need or require that the final 11 kilometres from the Beehive to Scratton Cross in Wicklow be completed. This is a road which has caused, again, in the last couple of months, carnage. The $750,000 which the government funded for interim improvements are welcome, but there's still the volume of traffic using this road is such that when people come off a motorway, dual carriageway, which extends to the border at this stage, that they find it difficult to come to terms with this. And speed limits, traffic management, it is still week in, week out. People are in minor and major car accidents on it. And I urge the government, I know it's mentioned in this latest development plan, but there's no time frame put on it. And even if it was tomorrow, it's 15 months before construction can start. One slight, I'm sure the government won't quote statistics that says the extra amount of motorway being provided in kilometres includes the roads that we might upgrade. I presume it'll be only new motorway that will be included when those statistics come out. With regard to the service areas, as I said, the road from the border to the Beehive, which is continuous motorway and dual carriageway, extends over 150 kilometres. And as far as I know, in either direction there isn't more than two. A basic requirement here, 2 existing pullover points. This requirement for rest areas would necessitate 5 or 6. But about a year ago, or maybe 14 months ago, the NRA sent a notice, put local authorities on notice that they would enforce their right to object to planning permissions on or near intersections, interchanges, including those that would provide for rest areas. Now, when planning permissions do come in, if this is a new initiative from the NRA, I welcome it, but it certainly seems to fly in the face of that notice that was given at one stage. And I just asked for clarification on that. But it's certainly a welcome progression, and it only reflects in the best basis of health and safety for drivers, as been mentioned, for truck drivers in particular, who are obliged to take certain periods of rest stop. Car parking at stadia, especially in the major stadia venues, and not just Dublin. I know in Thurles, for instance, it's a difficult problem that local people have, but I think the bylaws that are introduced should be in consultation with both the residents and the local businesses, so that everybody can adopt best. And I think all classes of stadia are going to be used for more than just sporting events in the future, because they have the infrastructure and they're modern, and people want that sort of facility. So certainly the people who suffer it week in, week out should be considered. And finally, Cathaoirleach, with regard to the taxi regulations, I just make the comment that this is generally welcome, but that bylaws in towns in particular should allow for non-taxi people who don't have the facility of a taxi rank to park outside, especially dispatch offices or unloading bays, without incurring the obligation to pay a parking fee. I think this is unfair. As a Hackney operator said to me, I don't make money when my car is parked outside the dispatch office. But invariably they have to pay the euro or 150 or whatever. So I think that has to be taken into consideration. Now, I know it's up to local authorities, but it's something that the department should send down by way of directive. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.